Welcome to Film Ladder, the podcast that pulls back the curtain on film industry jobs. My name is Lexi, and I chat with creatives on what they do, how they got there, and how to excel. I am so excited to introduce my guest. She is a digital utility in the camera department whose credits include Dynasty, Jackpot, and an upcoming film that's her. Ryanne Whyte, welcome to Film Ladder.
Hi.
So you're a digital utility. So give us a 2 or 3 sentence. What is a digital utility?
So a digital utility works under the camera department on set, and basically it's kind of like the PA of the camera department. It's essentially the main jobs include getting a picture to basically everyone, to getting it to the DP who can control all the lighting, and then the director, of course. And then second main job is charging and keeping track of all the batteries that we have for the camera department, which is a lot. So yeah, that's basically, and then everything else that anybody asks me to go and run for, you go and run for in between. But yeah, those are basically the main duties.
And so what would you say a day, or you can even generalize to a week, looks like? And I want to break this apart. Are you involved in anything pre-production and then obviously shooting and production wise, and then are you involved in anything in post, even if it's like a day of wrap out? Like if you could talk about that.
Yeah, so usually digital utility, usually on bigger budget projects, sometimes it depends on the budget, how much prep we get, the whole camera department gets, and how many people are there, because we get paid for prep and for wrap. But usually on like the show that we met on, we got 2 days of prep. That's usually pretty normal. We get 2 days of prep, the whole camera department. And my job, I do come in for prep. And my job generally is to build. So I build what we call video village, which is what the directors usually sit at, or the producers come and sit at to look at the screens and see what we're shooting on set. So I usually build that. I'll build or help build the DP sort of village. Usually it's DIT, but the DP village kind of build out those screens as well. Things that I would usually get picture to like during the run of show. And then I will also build something I did as well this last show, was build my battery cart, which is literally just a Rubbermaid cart, or any kind of cart. You can use any kind of cart, but basically it's just a cart that has all of the chargers that we need for all of our batteries. So that's like our big, what we call block batteries, which basically power the cameras. We have onboard batteries that also power the cameras. And we have like that small, tiny little 9-volt batteries that charge like little accessories and things. So yeah, I build that cart basically to make all of that mobile, so that all I have to do is plug in one thing and it charges that entire cart. And then I can go back and forth to my cart to grab batteries.
And that's kind of part of your job, is to make sure everything battery life is checked, and like that's on you.
Yes. Correct? Yeah. So usually it kind of depends on the show, or depends on the camera assistants. But yeah, basically anytime anybody needs a battery, like it's me. They're coming to me. I have to keep track of all of our batteries, make sure we're not losing any, make sure, we have everything at the end of the day, like back on our truck and all that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm keeping track of all of that, but I'm also getting those batteries to and from the cameras, because usually the camera assistants can't really leave set while we're doing stuff. They don't have time to like go back and forth to like our carts or be outside or really anywhere else. So then I'm like the runner. So I'm running, and batteries is like the main thing that I have to run. So yeah, that's what I'll do during prep, is just like build all of that stuff. And then during our run of show, during production, one of the biggest, most labor intensive parts of my job is moving. Like whenever we move set, whenever we are at a set, we wrap up, we're getting done, and we're about to move to a different set, I have to wrap a million cables basically. So running cables is a main part of my job as well, for sure. Yeah, I have to, everything, all the picture that connects, like that I have to get to, the many screens that I have to get picture to, the way I get picture to them is through running cables, and usually they're about 75 to 100 foot long cables. And yeah, usually when we're moving, I have to wrap at least 2 or 3 of those, usually about 3, about like 100-foot cables.
Wow.
Maybe 4 if hair and makeup has a monitor as well. So I have to wrap all of those, like as everybody's moving, I have to go through, wrap all of those, wrap up my battery cart as well, move everything, and then get to the next place and plug all those things back in. So yeah,
wow.
That's like the main like go part of my job. And then in between, once we get settled at the set, then I'm like running batteries. I usually kind of stay when we're like moving, when we're not like actively recording, I kind of stay like in the set to see like where I can help out, if I can grab something for an AC, you know, if I can run a lens or something like that. Usually I'll be like kind of in set, just kind of like waiting for a call or something like that. But yeah, that's mainly the job. And then wrap, we usually get like 1 day of wrap, maybe 2 if it's a really long show. And it's basically the opposite of prep. So you just break down everything, give it all back to the rental house that we rented it from, and just like make sure everything's there, count everything, de-label everything, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah.
From my own curiosity, as someone that has never worked the camera department, so when you're saying you're plugging it in, since they're so long, what is the source? So obviously you have it into the monitor, but where is that connecting to? Your camera truck? Or?
Yeah. So it's funny. I was explaining this to a newer utility on a movie that I did last year, and I explained it like, because this kind of how I see it is like, it's like water. It flows like, signal flows like water. So basically, on our camera, we have, if you look at like a picture of a studio built out camera, it's got like a bunch of stuff on it. And one of the things that we have on our camera is called a transmitter. It's this little box with 2 long antennas on it. And that plugs into the camera both with power to power the box, and then BNC, what we call like an SDI cable, plugs in to get picture to the transmitter. And the transmitter basically kind of like via Bluetooth, it can throw signal to receivers, which are other little boxes with antennas on them. And so for me, it can throw signal to a couple different receivers at a time. But for me, I have what we call panels. They're basically these giant antennas that we carry around either on like a stand. Mm-hmm. And like say if we have 2 cameras, then we'll have 2 panels, and they both have receivers on the back of them. And it's like basically this big square tile panel that kind of amplifies that, so I can put it kind of further away from the camera. But I try to basically, that's another big part of my job that I kind of forgot to mention, is I have to find a place to put the panels that is close enough to the cameras that it'll catch the signal pretty clearly, but far away and kind of hidden so that it's never in the picture, never on camera in the shot. Because if it's in the shot, that's, you know, obviously an issue. Mm-hmm. So yeah, the transmitter throws the signal via Bluetooth basically to the panel, and then I plug the panel in. So that's basically my source of the picture. I take signal from the panel to usually the DP, straight into the DPs, whatever the DP is looking at. Usually, again, it's DIT, so I'd plug it into DIT. But for our purposes, for our show, I plugged it straight into the DP's monitors. And so once I have it, that's 1 cable, basically right there, 1 for each camera. So it's 2 cables, about like 100 feet, I think 75 feet, those ones are 75 feet, ran from the panel to the DP's monitors. And then from there, we actually have, so you know how every TV you see pretty much has like little like plugins on the back of it, little little plugins on the back of it. You can plug something in like an HDMI or something like that. Yeah. Our monitors are basically the same, and they have those like SDI plugins in, and there's an out. So the panel cable goes to the in, so that gets picture to the DP, and then I take the out from that to get picture to another village over here, and then I take the out from that village over there to get to another picture over here. So basically it's like a daisy chain, you know. So yeah, that's basically how it goes.
The DP your main boss, or who is the one, I guess, instructing you of different things?
So the DP is basically like the boss of the camera department and lighting department as well. Like DP is the one that we're getting all of our instruction from. They're more so the creative head. So the DP will talk to the camera department. Also has like a more practical everyday boss, which is usually our A camera first AC, assistant camera. So the A first is usually like the actual boss and like manager of like on the ground of our department. And then, but they get their marching orders from the DP. So ultimately, like everything, all the equipment that we get, all the calls about like what filters we use and anything that affects like the image comes straight from the DP. Like his or her word is law. And then for the rest of us, basically we, take orders from our first. Both the A first and the A second are kind of like the bosses. Like A first is like the boss, and then the A second is kind of like a general manager too. Like the A second, like if anybody needs to call out, it's like, oh, I have to be gone on Friday. The A second is the one who's probably going to be calling people to replace. Like they're doing the more like menial tasks. The A second is the one who like gets everybody together for prep and is like putting together email lists and stuff like that. So like, yeah. And then, yeah, but no, the B camera is just one of the guys. B camera
shows up.
Yeah, they show up.
What do you need
to
do the work today?
They get out of there.
Love BCam.
Love BCam.
So what would you say is where you're working towards or what you're wanting to do next? Or
right now, I'm the most focused on just working. I honestly like, I just want a job. That's all. That's what I always tell people. No, but I mean,
say 5-year goal or 10-year goal.
Right.
Where
Yeah.
like maybe want to be.
I mean, I think the natural kind of progression is to go from like utility to maybe loader. Sometimes people go with the loader position, and then go to second AC, and then work their way up. Maybe be first. Then like if they want to go on to operator, and then like potentially DP as well. Hopefully in 5 years I could see myself being a second. I've worked as a second AC a few times on like filling in on like bigger shows, and then working as a second on like non-union things and stuff like that. So I think that would be like my natural progression. I want to operate. That's kind of my main goal. I would like the idea. I've played with the idea of being a DP. I really don't know, like I don't have enough expertise about it to really know if that's what I want to do. But I kind of do want to make that a goal, just because like there's not enough female DPs and there's not enough female DPs of color. So I'm like, I kind of want to do that just to like say I did and be able to.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's in the future. But yeah, hopefully just keep working my way up the ladder.
And that's what I love about these little stepping stones. It's like there's such honesty to say, I don't know all it takes to do that. And I don't know if that is what I want to do, but we're in such a role that you can just examine set, and we're such sponges, so to naturally see where that will lead you. And I think that makes you really like adaptable, and you'll find it's always natural, the next step. And then also maybe there isn't an end goal I know of, but I'm just figuring it out as you go.
Yeah, definitely. And too, it's like our positions, like different jobs are so different too. And it's like everybody that you work with like handles the job so like differently, can be like completely, and do it in a way that you've never seen before. So it's always like, it's always kind of a toss up. I mean, the job can be a million things really, but also too, it's something that's like good to be able to observe first and then kind of like see, test it out and things like that.
Yeah. No, that's so true, because my first ever movie, I had a crazy first AD, first assistant director, and because of seeing how crazy and unpleasant she was, I was like, I do not want to work my way up the AD route. I don't want to be anything that she does. And I have now worked with amazing first ADs, and I'm so actually thankful that she was my first experience, because my strengths and weaknesses don't necessarily align with that first AD, but your environment really does help create different things that you want to do or where you might feel like you fit, so that is so true. Everyone does it so different.
We have all had that monstrous first AD, trust me.
I want to rewind, and I would love for you to share your first in the industry and like how that happened. Was it like a random thing? Was it an internship? If you could just walk us through your first in.
Yeah, long story, of course, as it goes. So backing up a little more, actually, I graduated college. I was a film major. Graduated college in 2019, and then I moved straight to Atlanta right after I graduated, and I actually first started working at CNN. I was working at CNN as a tour guide for I did that for a year, and then COVID hit. and all that had to stop. So we ended up working from home for maybe about 6 months or so, and then got laid off in September that year. So I was like, okay, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And then I got like an email or text from one of my old professors in college, one of my old film professors that I was like pretty close to and stayed in touch with. And she sent me this email for this link for this internship in Atlanta. And so I checked it out. It was called Amazing Stories, the Amazing Stories Foundation. And it's basically a nonprofit organization. They put on this internship every year. And I was it was only the second year that they had done it. Oh, wow. And so I applied for it and I got an interview and I did the interview and I got in, and there was only 10 of us who got into that class. And basically it was this like 2-week intensive where we met up in a classroom 5 days a week for 2 weeks. And it was basically a workshop on how to be a good PA. It was like completely, I think the first week specifically was focused on like how to be a PA, what to do, what not to do, what the job is.
And just a general set PA, correct?
Yeah, just a set PA, like general set PA. Yeah, just like the full on, like what that job is from top to bottom. And then the second week, the organization sort of creators, Rob Hardy and Nina Packer, are both producers. So they are pretty well connected. And so the second week they had department heads from all different, like basically all the different departments on set talk to us and give us like a rundown of what they do and what their department is. Because they tried to hire, let in people into the internship that had like a wide range of interests in what they wanted to do in the field. And it's all like people of color too. It's basically like trying to get, a focus on people of color, like getting into the industry.
Wow, that's amazing.
So they had a bunch of department heads from all different departments on set, like literally everyone from producers to crafty, like just to explain to us what their job is and how they do it and who they hire and what it all takes and what all goes into it. So we did that, and then at the end of that, they basically like try to place all of us on different sets and get us a job. So that's how I got on Dynasty. They had a good partnership with Dynasty, and actually the producer that talked to us was the executive producer of Dynasty. So 2 of us from the program got placed in Dynasty as interns on season 4, like in the middle of season 4. And yeah, I started in the office as an office PA, and we actually switched. Like she started on set, I started in the office, and then we switched like 6 weeks in, and then we ended up staying for the rest of season 4. And then
can I just say that's an amazing experience. Like I wish that was normal for everyone to just see what every department is on set and then be like, let me take you under your wing. I'm so glad that there are programs like that out there.
Yeah. Amazing Stories was like completely instrumental. I don't know, like literally I think about it all the time. It's like I don't know what I would be doing right now if I hadn't got that. I was like, when I got laid off, I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I guess I'll go back to school or something. Like I was like,
that's what we all think.
Maybe I'll do
school. And I know some people get like wishy-washy, like should I go to college, should I not? And I don't even know if we need film degrees, to be honest. I have one. I know you said you went to college for one. Do they ask? I don't know if they really care about it, but similar to you, someone I met in college or a professor or this or that did lead me to where I am today. So I don't think it's not necessary. Like I'm glad I did go to college and that this opportunity came from it. But I guess I don't know if like we truly needed that or not. But
I would say like I'm super jaded about it, but I would say if you're already doing film stuff, like if you're like shooting your own stuff just because you're creative and you taught yourself how to edit and you're like working with people, like don't stop all that to go to school. Like there's no reason for that. I'd say if you know literally nothing and you're just interested in it and you're trying to go to school anyway, like go to school for it 100%. Yeah. Like I think that's worth it. But if you're already like somewhat working, there's literally no benefit to other than debt. Like that you can gain from that, because too it's like, I mean, something that I realized like working on set is like the stuff that they were teaching us in school is not really all that relevant. I think they teach you in college and stuff, they teach you how to be more self-sufficient. They teach you how to become a director or become a cinematographer, but you don't start off as a director or a cinematographer.
Right.
Like you start off, towards the bottom, and they don't really teach you how to do that in school. So
Yeah. I fear college sometimes gives this false narrative that you are leaving and you already know what to do.
yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. Like you're leaving and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm ready to direct my first feature. It's like, no, it gives
Probably
you all
not.
this false confidence. Yeah,
Right.
it's no. So yeah, I would say, yeah, I mean, but it also can be good to make connections too. It's
Yep.
like there's a lot of times it can get you used to being behind a camera. It can get you used to like certain things, and it can like help you figure out maybe what you want to do on set too, and it can lead to some connections. So I think it's, if you know, like literally if you're starting from zero, I think it can be worth it, like to go to school. But yeah, if you're already like doing stuff, yeah, no, don't stop to go get a degree. Like nobody's checking your degree if you're on set.
Not once I've been asked, where'd you go to college? So you went to the office. So now let's pinpoint that start to how you got to be a digital utility. So can you kind of just walk me through a couple different steps that got you to that role?
Yes, I that was season 4. We started and ended as PAs completely, and then got asked back for season 5, and I went straight to just being an office PA. But I was like so unsatisfied. Oh my gosh, I was like, I didn't hate the office. It's like, regular hours and stuff. It was so freaking boring. And I was just like, I need to get out of here. I want to be on set so bad. And thankfully, our relationship with the executive producer was pretty established because he knew me and knew my friend who came to from Amazing Stories, and was really good friends with Rob Hardy. So he like loved us right off the bat, which was great. And so I kind of asked him I made it clear that I wanted to be in camera. Like that was always my goal. So I kind of like asked, I was like, hey, like, is there any way I can get an internship? Because the previous Amazing Stories class before me, the year before, the 2 people that ended up on Dynasty the last time had actually also been interested in camera. So they went through an internship with the camera rental house that Dynasty used called Otto Nemmens. And so I asked him about that. I was like, could I possibly, try to do an internship through the camera rental house? And he ended up saying yes and setting it up, like completely set it up for me. So I ended up doing a 6-week internship with Otto Nemmens, where Dynasty rented all of our camera equipment from. So I went over there and I just learned like all the equipment that I could, like got to touch everything, got to see everything. Yeah, that was super lucky. So I got to, went there for 6 weeks, got to see everything, came back as a set PA for a while we figured out like logistics of getting me into the union.
Oh, do you have to be in the union to be a digital utility?
No, it was kind of complicated when I was doing things, but Georgia is a right to work state, which means that you don't have to be, it's illegal to require a union membership in order to work any job. So no, officially you do not have to be in the union to do any job on set, but it helps. And that was my goal, is to be in the union. So basically, all I had to do was, I had to wait for a little bit, but all I had to do was call an interview and then pay a ton of money in the initiation fee.
I know, it's crazy.
And then, I was in. So and then I started working. I literally like got into the union on maybe like a Friday, and I started working as a utility on the next Monday.
Wow. Did they find you the job, or how'd that come about?
I worked as an additional digital utility on Dynasty. Dynasty already had like full stack of camera department, but they knew me, and I've been working with them for like 2 years. I started as an additional utility basically. So I would work like sort of like not like kind of limited hours. I worked like 8 hours a day, unless we went on location, which then I would work the full day. But I would work 8 hours a day, and I would work alongside our other utility, and that's how I basically like learned the job top to bottom, and got work for the rest of the year.
Because that was my next question, was just like, okay, you're in the role. How did you know what to do? So there was another utility there that kind of was answering your questions. And obviously you're time at the rental house too. You got to learn the equipment pretty well.
Yeah, my time at the rental house. Funny enough, actually, my first day as a utility, somebody was out. I think maybe our DIT was out for the day. And so that triggered like a trickle down effect where our B2 AC had to fill in for our DIT, and then Kyle, our usual digital utility, had to fill in for the B2. So I ended up being the only utility that day on my first day.
Goodness.
And so I was like, I was so overwhelmed. I didn't know what was going on. Thankfully, Dynasty was a very easy show to be on and very perfect show to learn everything on.
Oh, good.
But yeah, that first day was insane. But yeah, I mean, I knew like the basics because I had been like on set with them as well, just as a PA. And I had talked to the digital utility like a bunch and gotten to know everybody in the camera department. So yeah, it wasn't like completely foreign to me, the job generally, but like doing it is a whole different ball game. So yeah, doing it was a lot. But you learn on the job. That's literally any job in set. They'll tell you learn on the job.
We try so hard to like take swim lessons. We're like, okay, just start touching the water, then all right, now I'll do a little stroke, do this and that. And I feel like we think we're prepared or do our best, and then all of a sudden we're just like plopped in the deep end. And it's usually how it goes. Like, no, this person's gone today and this person has to feel it. So figure it out. And and then you can swim.
It's literally sink or swim.
And I tell people
how you learn.
Like, you need to take a job if it's presented to you that you think it is a good stepping stone, even if it's not at the level you want yet, because sometimes those days happen where you get the chance to do that, and so I always tell people it's okay to do another time as office PA or, keep stepping up that way, because that is when you will get those chances to move up is in those roles.
Yeah, 100%. And I've heard so many stories of people taking jobs that they weren't like totally prepared for, but then ended up like learning on the job and then getting those jobs like going forward, and like it's like oh, that's how I became what I am today basically. So it's like you got to learn somehow, and there's no training wheels for this, like really, like, so there's the only way to learn is to just do.
Well, then that jumps into my next thing is how to excel at the job, which we've already kind of started talking about. So what are 3 different character traits or personality traits that really would fit the role of a digital utility or anyone wanting to work in camera?
I think 3 character traits. I would say adaptability is definitely one. Can't be too like rigid. I mean, the job ebbs and flows, and sometimes, especially as a utility, like you have to fill in a lot. So adaptability, being able to change and learn new things pretty easily, is a very good trait. Something else, I would say like in some form, like stamina. Like I think that's really a trait for anybody working on set. You're on your feet a lot, you're walking around a lot, you're carrying heavy stuff a lot, and doing it over and over and over again for 12 plus hours in a day. Like, stamina is a big one. If you get tired very easily, work on that.
Start, holding those cables, find the heavy ones, do some lunges.
Hold those cables.
Get ready.
But yes. Another thing I would say, I don't know like the actual like word for this, but like having like a hunger, like it's not being adaptable, but just being
self-motivated,
open, self-motivated, or like just open to like learning. Like something that I say and kind of like believe really is that like it matters how good you are at the job, but also specifically as a utility, it's expected that you don't know everything. Like it's the lowest rung on the ladder as far as camera, so you're not expected to know everything, but you are expected to be able to learn and to want to learn. And that's kind of one of the biggest things that will get you more jobs, is people can tell it's like, okay, well, they may not be like super experienced, but like she's a really cool person to work with, and she wants to be this, she wants to do that, and she wants to like learn and grow. And so if people see that you want that, like they're more likely to attach to you, and that makes you better at the job ultimately too, because I'm still constantly learning so much stuff on set. Like every time I go onto a new set, I'm learning stuff. So I don't know the word for that, the characteristic for that, but that's definitely another one of them.
At the end of the day, I think people worry about asking for help or asking for wisdom. And people usually, if they think you have a good heart or they see your work ethic and they see you wanting to get better, they do want to provide wisdom. You know, we're human, like we want to share knowledge that we have. And so, yeah, if you can get it right and you have that endurance and that stamina and that all the things you said, it will work out in your favor and you will see people wanting to help you as much as you want to absorb the information.
Yeah, 100%. I think that, like, and I say this too all the time, it's like a person who's like an expert in the field but is an asshole is not as likely to get hired as a person who's like maybe a little green but everybody gets along with.
100%.
Like that's something that's a good personality is a good thing to have on set, because that's what people will remember about you. Like, there are a million people who are good at the job, but there's not necessarily a million people. You've worked on set, like a lot of people are really jaded assholes. Like, some people are like really, so it helps to have like a good, likable personality, especially too as like women on set.
Oh, yeah.
It helps to have like a good, likable enough personality. And being like a yes man also helps a lot, especially as a utility. Like, and I'm sure like definitely as a PA too. I mean, shoot, I worked as PA. Like, being the person, you don't want to be the person that's like, do I have to like do that, blah blah blah. Like,
they'll like, we will never hire you again. Then that's totally fine.
Yeah, no, like literally just be the person to be like, yeah, I can do that, totally, no problem. I'll get you that. Bet, cool. Like,
absolutely.
That,
you turn around, you're like, I don't know how, but we will
exactly.
try.
I turn around into myself, I'm like, I have no idea what that is, but I'm gonna go find that.
And I've done that as an assistant too. I've gotten asked so many different things from personal to creative, and it's like, do I want to schedule this for you and call these 10 people? No, but
right.
My answer is going to be, of course, I am here to help you, and I would love to help you. And then I almost like repeat that mantra to myself.
Yep.
Like, I'm here to help. I love to help. I'm here to help.
I love to help.
Even though you have to die to self, you have to set aside your wants for this job. And it makes so much sense of what you're saying, because the hard truth is we work so many hours, like minimum 60-hour weeks. Like, on this film set, we see each other more than we see our families or roommates or whatnot. So if you don't have this persona over you that's fun to work with, or at least like you do your job well, they're not going to want to hire you. Like you said, a green person who works really hard, they're going to want to work with that versus the asshole, on set. So that is very true. Yeah. Which leads me into my next thing, and I want to know, and I think you already kind of said this when you said you have to lift a lot of heavy things, but like, what is one more like hard truth for someone who is thinking about pursuing this? Like, what's something, the non-glamorous side, to be aware of in this job that comes with it?
Non-glamorous. I mean, one thing that is not specific to camera, but just set work in general, is the inconsistency in job security. That is something that nobody talks about, I feel like, in film and stuff like that, and in production. It's something that doesn't get talked about. It does get talked about a little bit more now ever since the strikes. The reality is that like you won't always be working. The hard truth about it is like that to me is the hardest thing. Like, I'd rather be pushing 1,000-pound cart up a hill every day than be unemployed. So unemployment, I think, is the hardest truth of the film industry. Like, we're all freelancers at the end of the day, so getting that next job is always like the most critical, but it's not always practical.
Yeah.
Having to navigate that is definitely the hardest truth of this job, and something to consider if wanting to pursue film.
Yeah, it's like, I never want to discourage people from getting in film. If you truly love it, like, please do. We all are. But I know when people come to me and they're like, I kind of want to get in film, or like, can you get me in film? I'm like, it's hard. It is so hard. You kind of want to see this path for yourself, but it's also, we're at the mercy of if productions are coming to the city you're at, and that's always changing because of tax incentives. Atlanta right now is experiencing that. It's so much cheaper to film in Canada, not even just Atlanta, but LA, New York. They're all seeing that. So it's like such a job that comes with such highs and lows and feasts and famine, and just trying to navigate your career. It's I do. I ask them, like, are you sure, in the most loving way? Like, you can do it, but it's going to put you through the ringer that I think will grow you as a person. And we're in it, and there's so much reward. But it is so hard, and stability is not something that comes with film.
Consistency is not in the vocabulary
It's not.
whatsoever, unless you're extremely freaking lucky.
Right.
But yeah,
right.
like now, especially I think today, like now in this time is like specifically dire. Especially, I mean, like LA is like, you know, Hollywood is the mecca, the center of film, and they are struggling right now, like badly. So yeah, that's something that's really rough to have to deal with. It's I mean, when it's, you know, it's like when it's good, it's so good. Like
so good.
When it's good,
we're having breakfast, we're having lunch, there's like another meal.
We're like making memories. We're getting paychecks every week. We're becoming, you know, like this big happy family, and then the job ends, and it's like,
like, oh my gosh, I'm unemployed. Groceries now.
I'm just like laying in my bed for days on days on days, and I'm just like, what do I do with my life? Like, what skills do I have? What can I put on a resume? I have no idea.
My identity. I've only known 60-hour weeks. I'm just staring at a wall. Like, what do I do in free time? It will put you through the ringer, but you know, we love it. You have to love it. If you want to get in the film industry, you have to love it. So lastly, on that amazing note, someone is in the film industry. They want to know, what is one piece of advice you have for someone just trying to navigate a film career?
I would say make as many connections as you can, as early as you can. It can be like exhausting, like networking. I think being any type of freelance, like worker is difficult, and you have to rely on others to be able to work. Like that's just the name of the game. You have to rely on your connections with others to be able to work. And so getting connections, especially like just early on, like getting as many connections, even if it's just like, hey, I want to pick your brain, like go out for a coffee, you want to get a coffee and just have a conversation. And like people remember things like that. People remember that. They'll remember you that way. So yeah, that I think would be my biggest piece of advice is, you just spread yourself out like socially. It's very easy. It's so easy on set to just strike up a conversation with literally anyone.
Yep. For people who, okay, we went the office route or we're set PA, and you're observing, and when you kind of start seeing what you're gravitating towards, whether it be props, set deck, camera, myself producing, directing, things like that, that it's good to then start verbalizing with your connections. I think I'm interested in this. You know, you're not necessarily being like, hey, I want in camera, get me in camera. That's not how you go about it. But if you're like, I'm interested in this, a lot of the times, if there's an opportunity, they're gonna try to help you. Like you said, you went to the person that was your connection, and you're like, hey, I think I want to get into camera, and then you'll see which doors open, you know?
Yeah, making those connections, especially as a set PA, it's like you have like, there's a lot to do, but sometimes you can have a lot of free time, and just like getting whatever department you want to be in, getting to like know those people. And then if they see you working and they think you're cool, they can, you know, you'd be like, hey, I'm interested in this. Like, you know, how would I get into this? Like, you'd be surprised how many like times they'll be like, oh, well, you can come over and help us out with this or blah blah blah, and then you can learn and go off of that.
I just kept asking or advocating for myself, or I knew that I needed to work really hard, because that's another point you said. Say you want to get into props, and you're like, oh, I really want to get in props. Well, if you're on set with them, they're seeing your work ethic of whatever job you're doing, and you need to be doing that to the best of your abilities, because if they see you're a hard worker, then they'll be like, okay, if we have additional days, we'll take you on our team. You know, that doesn't just work like, I'm going to go to props and say I want to be in props, and then they're going to bring me on. You know, it's like you have to allow your work to show for you as well.
Yeah. I think, you have to want it enough, like, and that's not like, it's easier said than done. Like, I'm not even gonna, like, I'm on front. Like, it can be difficult. Again, like being a freelancer in general is just like a weird, I mean, there are people who have been doing, you know, this job and like higher than me, people who have been doing those jobs for like decades are sometimes finding it hard to get a job. So like, it's not, you know, a walk in the park all the time, but it's not impossible either.
Yeah, keep the dream alive in you.
Yeah, it never hurts to ask. It never hurts to ask about anything on set. You'd rather ask and look stupid than not ask and look even stupider. So
what's the saying with basketball where it's like you'll miss 100% of
You'll
the
miss
shots you don't take
right.
or something like
Yeah.
that. And that's so true. And yes, it is so hard. Like I'll get 5 no's before I get my open door, you know, but that doesn't mean I'm ever going to stop knocking if I
Right.
feel like that's right for me. And I think we get nervous about knocking, and you just got to keep going. If you're going to commit to the film industry, full send. That's all I gotta
Yeah.
say. You work hard and keep climbing. Thanks for listening to Film Ladder. I hope this episode brought you one step closer to understanding the many paths through the film industry. If you like this episode, consider subscribing, leaving a review, or sharing with someone else also navigating their next step. Until then, keep climbing.